Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Kelly Sparks, aka Redbeard. Today I'm going to go ahead and go over Ardbeg 10. I wish I didn't have this bottle. I had to go out and purchase this one. So that's why I'm doing it second and not first. But it says on the back, our distillery lies at the most southerly part of Islay, and our malt is revered around the world as the peatiest, smokiest, most complex whiskey of them all. Bold words. Yet it does not flaunt the peat. Rather, the peat gives way to the malt, the natural sweetness of which subtly intrudes, producing perfect balance. So it says on the front, sea spray, terry rope, immense smoky intensity. Bottled at 46% ABV. I'm going to go ahead and get into it. And if you can see it, put my shirt behind it, it is very, very light in color. So 10 years in what I can only assume is former bourbon barrels. It leaves a very light, almost, it's not even gold. It's like somebody who's almost hydrated. It's literally just it's about the color of urine. Doesn't smell like urine, so that's good. Good stuff there. So obviously right off the bat, sea spray, very salty, and I don't get near as much smoke as I used to. Like, so I told y'all the other day that. This was the... What are you doing? So, Ardbeg 10 was the first peated scotch I ever got into. And the very first time, I'll go ahead and tell the story again. I was in the infancy of my scotch phase. And I had already went through a bunch of Glenfiddichs and Glenlivets and Glenmorangies. And I was just looking for something new, something a little more. And I found myself one day staring at the Ardbeg 10 and the Laphroaig 10. And I didn't know what they were. I never experienced anything like it. And me being the man I am, there was a distributor rep standing over there looking at the scotches as well, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's peated scotch." I had no idea. I just nodded my head. I was like, "Yeah, He was like, "I normally gotta have a chaser if I drink that," and I looked at him like, thinking to myself, "You fucking pussy." So I grabbed me a bottle of Ardbeg 10, and I brought it home. And little did I know what I was getting into, but I found myself not caring for that first taste and even the first bottle. But once I was through it, I went back to the store again, and that was back whenever I wasn't saving anything. I was buying one and then I was going to the next, finish that bottle, go to the next bottle. But the second time I went back, I bought me a bottle of Laphroaig 10, and from that point on I was like, oh yep, I like this stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and figure out everything else that goes along with Islay Scotch. Oh yeah. So, just like with the massive burst of sea salt. It's like sea spray getting hit in the face with a dolphin's tail. But there's some underlying sweetness, and that's more likely comes from the malt, and very, very faint fruitiness to it. Let me try another little taste. Now all I get on it is peat. Very earthy. Earthy and medicinal on the nose now. On the palate, it's like malt, chocolate malt. That's the only flavor I can come to mind with. And like dark fruit. Very faint dark fruit. But I've got to warn everybody out there. Anybody who has never jumped in the deep end of Islay Scotch, tread lightly. Don't just go out and buy you a bottle thinking you're going to be a badass. Because I didn't have anybody around. There was no whiskey tribe. There was very few people doing whiskey videos in late 2014. I was doing all this on my own. I was experimenting. I was grabbing bottles on the shelf. I was like, oh, that looks like a cool label. What does that say? Ardbeg? So, tread lightly. It can punch you in the mouth, but once you're able to see past all that bold flavor and invasive taste, you're able to pick apart all the pretty little nuances. Yeah, it's, to me, and I know this sounds like a far departure from everybody else. To me, I get all the delicate flavors. I don't get the massive, it doesn't feel like this invasive peat monster that is trying to override all of my senses and my taste buds. It's like, hey man, I hang out by the ocean from time to time and I skip rocks and shit, and I also write poems. But that's what it is to me. To me, it's pretty and it's delicate, and that's what I get. So you got to spend a lot of time drinking this stuff so you can see past all that punchiness. Read in a book. He referred to it, and I got the book. I'll bring it out sometime. I had it on one of the videos. He referred to it as breaking past the wall. So whenever we all started out drinking, there were certain things like, oh, I can't drink that. That's too much. Well, you start drinking it on the rocks, and then little by little you start putting less and less ice in it, and then, hey, next thing you know, you're drinking it neat, and then you're actually enjoying it. So that's part of getting past that wall. So that's all I'm going to go ahead and say on this one. I'll get a little long-winded if I don't stop. Don't forget to check out the Bearded Idiots. We're kind of funny. But like always, folks, I'm going to keep doing this stuff as long as I can, as long as I can afford it. If someone asked a question recently about sending samples or whatever, if you want to send me stuff to review, I'll do it. I'm going to trust you folks not to poison me. But if you contact me through my email, you should be able to find a link on my homepage. But if not, it's kellysparks33@gmail. Email me there and we can set something up and figure something out. But I'd take donations all day long. But yeah, so like always, drink some whiskey, share with your friends and family. Have a nice day. Y'all take care.